Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are back.
Yes,
How are you, Chris?
yes, sir. Oh, Curtis, look, I'm not good. Feel abused, to be honest. I feel abused. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not over until it's over, wearing it with pride. So I bring it is fine.
Yeah, it's a two-match series. It's a two-match series. Dummy Switch Pod.
Mm.
The Dan Carters of podcasting. We're here to give you our opinions, flagrant takes, just some church announcements. You can find us here, Apple Podcasts,
Yeah,
Spotify. Leave your comments.
it's engaged.
Yeah, let's engage. And Chris, I'm actually right now. I'm feeling a bit cold. You know, I'm feeling a
Yeah.
bit cold.
Oh, I
So
see. Oh, no. No, no, deservedly, Curtis. I'm surprised you waited this long. Yeah.
yes, obviously my team, the Lions, getting the victory over the Sharks.
Yeah,
Ultimately, Cash had a plan for us, and Cash had
yeah,
a
I
plan
know.
for you and the
Mm,
Sharks.
mm, I know. What a plan. No, like I said, that was an abuse.
Yeah,
Um, you look at it even on second watch, the control that the Lions had, from the moment that first kickoff went out, you just handed them the control. Say, okay, there you go, play at home,
yeah,
start nice, you know. So and the Lions said thank you, Derby and the intensity the Sharks couldn't match it.
yeah,
The pack, the Lions pack was just, they outworked them.
yeah.
Guys are stepping up. Manny Russ, Lombard,
Yeah,
yeah, man, it was a disaster for this. Yeah, it was, no, it was bad.
yeah,
It was bad. The way that it happened, it was bad, man.
yeah. No, if you're going right from the beginning, another Origin round here, and for the
Mm,
Lions going into this, you've got Horn missing, Van Veek missing, Oosthuizen missing.
mm,
Those are all three starters, three important players. One
yeah,
Springbok, potentially two when you're looking at Van Veek. If he could stay injury free, it would probably be two Springboks there.
yeah,
The Sharks, oh, and JC Pretoria is coming back in. That was the only
coming
thing.
back.
Last
Mm,
week, I mean, against the match against the Bulls, he was left out. And then they said it was tactical reasons. There's never a tactical reason to leave JC Pretorius out. I
yeah,
don't get it. I don't get it,
yeah,
especially for this team. He's a perfect number six. And it was a nice
mm,
battle between him and Mavaseri. I just don't understand what Cairns doesn't have anything on JC Pretorius. When he's fit, he should be
mm,
playing. And we saw
yeah,
why in this game, especially.
yeah. Look, I know he was in it, man. He was in it just everywhere. Just that work rate, that intensity is, he was for me. He was that spark for them, and it just kept them going. And man, look as well. I'm sorry, man. From the Sharks' perspective, you expected better, honestly speaking, because you know what you're gonna get to the Lions there at home. It's a Saturday,
Yeah.
2:30 kickoff. They're gonna bring it, and yeah,
Mm.
the guys like what JC and them, they're gonna step up. You too, you must step up. you know,
Yeah.
you too, you must step up. They got caught. I wouldn't even say caught
Yeah.
cold or whatever. It's just
But that's the
poor,
thing. They
man.
also they had that week off. So now
Mm,
you're thinking, is that going to affect them? But we've seen teams come back from that
yeah,
week
they
energized,
themselves.
motivated. We've seen, yes, them themselves. We've seen them do it. There were a few changes in the forwards, and then Hendrickson came in at nine. Hendrickson looked cold.
I,
He didn't have any control over the
he's
game,
had better
and like,
days, man.
yeah, he's had way better days. And you look at that, and from the beginning, it just looked like the Lions were on it, and the Sharks weren't. They built that
Yeah.
14-point lead, clinical when they got into the
Bam, bam.
22. I think it was two
Uh,
22 entries, two
yeah.
tries, and it
They
was
hit
this,
them.
and it was forwards doing the work. It was forwards doing the work. I
Mm,
think it was
mm.
first set piece, then Klabakanya hit, and then Puerta
And then
went between
yeah.
two players. Then you
Mm,
got the forwards also working, working, working. Horn goes over. So that's one thing I'll say is that the forwards surprisingly, because Oosthuizen wasn't there, and he's a guy that came in and gave that muscle to where they could do
yeah.
that. He's out,
Yeah.
but they still have that muscle. Fenter went
Mm,
off. Roma came on, they still have the
I
muscle.
look, yeah, him coming off the bench as well for the Lions, just was good. I mean, speaking about those especially those first two tries, the Sharks just they weren't getting off the line.
Yeah,
There's no real communication happening. It was just and the Lions are just letting them come at them. They're just waiting. And
yeah,
you can't give Lions players time and space, give them an opportunity to make good decisions. And, you know, they just bullied them up front. They really did. And they lose trio. You saw even the carries, you look at it, the combination. Fenta makes that carry, gets up, then Horn plays him, makes a carry, Horn scores.
yeah,
It's just, where's the other loose trio? You know what I mean? It just, no, man. Like, who's this? JC was also involved there in that build up as well. I think that's a second try, but you know, it's just yeah, they just the intensity was too much for the Sharks. They didn't have an answer. They couldn't, and everything they tried to do, it just didn't work. And it goes back to that thing of saying, okay, it's looking like it's a tough one. Let's change something. And
yeah. You've got to be
it,
pragmatic in those situations.
yeah,
There's nothing because you could see, okay, granted it was difficult. The Lions got 14-point lead, then it starts raining heavily.
mm,
So it's gonna be tough now to come back. But there was no thing of like, okay, maybe let's try a different approach,
yeah. In truth, the
and
Lions managed the conditions better.
they managed the conditions better, but the Sharks, it's like they couldn't put together a decent three phases.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
couldn't. It was either the kick goes out, they try and get it wide, no ball retention. There was pressure at the breakdown. There was pressure at the scrums. They couldn't put together
Yeah,
anything.
and then obviously, discipline. It's coming. It's coming, and that's why, like, I can understand when you look at your number 10 to say, hey, listen, you gotta take charge. Take
Yeah,
charge and say, no, this is not working. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Let's go back to what was working for us, which is what the Lions were doing. So if you look at it, the Lions were playing what the Sharks did to the Bulls, put the ball in the air, good kick chase, pressure, and like you mentioned, all those other areas where there was just pressure and they couldn't get out
yeah,
of the device grip. They were stuck in it, and you seriously you do have to question. And again, the scrum got shown up, the more, but as it goes, next week can be different. That's
yeah.
the
It
irritating thing
can be
about
different.
the Sharks right now is that, because I
Yeah,
mean,
for
against the Bulls, it was all
yeah,
hot there. You could see they're in the fight. They went there with the plan and it worked. And this time around, it's like, okay, what? There's no plan. There's no plan B. There's no okay.
yeah.
Come on, man. Come
Yeah, they're
on.
definitely gonna need a different approach, and for me, it's a as much as coaching, it can be a week by week thing,
Mm,
So for me, a week also isn't a long time.
yeah,
You've got to kind of stick with the same game plan, but tweak it here and there for the opposition that you're playing. But when I look at
yeah,
the game plan that they made for the Sharks in this instance, they got it so right in terms of the pressure
yeah.
on
They
the
did.
centers. The centers got absolutely those
Yeah.
guys took a hiding against the Bulls. Marius Lowe
Mm,
and Manny Rest when he came on. They were terrible
mm,
against the Bulls.
yeah,
The
yeah,
next week, they're shutting down Julius. Every time
yeah,
Julius got the ball, Rest is on him. Rest was man of the match.
yeah. Yeah, and look, that was because they knew where the outlets were. That
Yeah.
the Sharks, yes, under pressure, but then 13 is the outlet,
Yeah, those vital
Hooker is the
areas where
outlet.
there's danger.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, 11 is the outlet as well. And 15 as well. Hey, they were hammering Hendricks. Hey, no,
Mm.
they were hammering him all day. Up until there in the end, I was tired of that nonsense. He was also fighting back, like but exactly that the defense of the Lions, and that's where I also think they really won it is yes, game plan, their execution, but then defense where they managed to just keep the Sharks out. And especially your marquee players, guys that you know usually typically beats first man,
Yeah.
and there was none of that in this game. There was absolutely none of that, and credit to Jock Ferry, Money Ross stepping up, taking his opportunity, because everyone's talking Henko van Veek, and saying, hey, it's just like Lombard a few weeks ago to say, hey, look, I'm here as well, so
Res, Mafura, and Koma, the impact that
yeah,
they had as guys that are on the fringe of the starting group, for them to come in and have such big performances,
yeah,
where you'd think that, because I mean, Fenter off, that's a Bok off. Like I said, you had Horn, Mafura coming
yeah,
in, Van Veek, Bok level, Res coming in. You'd think there'd be a drop off, but there was no drop off for these guys. The
mm,
only the only thing now is, can they do it again next week? Because
yeah,
I think they're largely going to keep the same team, but
yeah,
it was good vibes, man. It was good vibes. There were
for the
celebrations.
lights.
Guys were
Hey,
doing headstands. Props were doing
please.
reverse no look passes.
Man.
Guys were coming. Canes came on for HIA, scored a try, then went sat back down.
Bro. No, it was. I no, that was the last thing that they needed was somebody to just do a river dance because they were buried, man. Look, they just yeah. What do you say? What do you say? It was a poor performance. They went on.
Yeah,
There's physically the physicality, just that intensity of the Lions, that physicality that they brought, and yeah, it just shows, when you're on and you use that physicality, use what you've got, use all your attacking threats, and you're up on defense as well. It's it's a blueprint to beating almost any team, because a
yeah,
lot of teams can struggle, But then on the other side of it, if you're looking to build a championship franchise, you gotta be in those situations and understand, okay, this is where we're at. How do we try and get out of this? And not wait until
yeah,
the last 5 minutes where there's a yellow card and now you wanna play and come on, man. And even then from a coaching perspective, you gotta arrest the situation. You understand guys are
yeah,
box and whatnot, but if a guy's playing trash, he's playing trash. Make a call, make it early.
yeah.
You're in the high fault. Chase this thing. You know,
Yeah, it almost seems like they were resigned to losing the game, and they stuck to, okay. It looked like a minutes management thing of like, we can only play Sia 10 minutes, we can only play Grant Williams
yeah.
10 minutes. That's what it looked like. Because if they were serious, they would have gotten those guys on
Yeah.
earlier. And that also can't be
You,
your, as a coach, your tactic is, no, I'll just throw on Grant Williams because he's gonna do something. Grant Williams is going to do something regardless. So, that's, as a
yeah.
coach, you've got to think more than, okay, no, let's get this chap in and then he'll do the
Mm,
work for me. You've got to do more than that.
yeah. But look, overall, they were just poor, man. The pack was just, and that's the thing. If your pack it's the basics of it. If your pack is
Yeah.
not dominant, you're going to struggle and you can't defend the whole day. Because in the beginning, yeah,
Yeah.
good start, good set. You thought, okay, yes, you can see the pressure, but maybe they've got a plan managing it. But the mistakes, like you say, couldn't manage ball, the breakdowns. Look, just go, pack it up already. Half time, I was ready. Hey, I was ready.
Yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing that's going to have to happen in the next game, is that the Sharks don't get numbers pulled in so much to the carries. But then that requires you to man up and step up and
Yeah, yeah.
meet
Go and hit
you
guys.
know go and hit guys,
Chase
go
the
and hit
thing,
the
man.
forwards, stop them, because that's what was
Mm,
happening, was all the forwards were just getting pulled in, and then it was either the forwards going over themselves, or they get it to the back line, and then that's when I think it was, yeah, Creel's try, that was just hands.
yeah, just hands, you know. But
So that's the only thing where it's like, obviously Sharks going to be at home, home team tends to fare better. But can you fix that problem in a week? Which the Sharks have shown that they can, but will they?
yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Is which sharks is going to turn up? They
Yeah,
at that stage now. Wait, which sharks team is going to turn up? Because I didn't recognize that team on the weekend, to be honest. I was just, it was, yeah, guys like Ethan Hooker could still see, yeah, the quality there. Julius as
Yeah,
well, you could, he was trying, guys, you could see that, yeah, there were guys that were still trying to be in the fight, but as a collective, they weren't together. Um, and like I said, when your pack is getting beat on like that,
yeah.
they were getting beat on quarters. Go watch back and see those
Yeah,
carries.
I watched.
They were getting beat on, man, like bad. And yeah, geez, So it was diabolical for the Sharks. Yeah, there's issues. But 7 more games in URC. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah, I think they
yeah,
have to start, yeah, they have to start Williams. That was the only consolation that the children got to see us score. Everyone wants to. You see Sia wearing two socks, different club, high school. He's even in the depths of despair. He's still the representing. He's our spokesperson for the nation.
yeah, yeah. Look, but second leg is on, Koda. Second leg is on. So we'll see. We'll see. And I'm still wearing. I'll continue to do so. I don't care. I still back them, to fix things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there's no issues because there's
How are
issues.
you feeling? How are you feeling about that game? Do you think they will make the adjustments necessary?
They have to. They like right now they can't. They can't not afford to.
Yeah.
Because hey, you're going to be at home. You just got beat on last week. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna get beat on again. Like
It's possible.
look, it is possible, but the question is, how are they going to respond? I think
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, that's what's going to tell us more about the team and where they could go. And but also there's things need to change. A lot of things need to change if they really want to be serious about winning things. I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be tighter, but I'm backing my boys. I'm backing. Last week
Obviously.
I wasn't very optimistic,
Oh,
but from what I've seen now, from what I've seen,
no,
cash.
you must be careful.
Yeah, these guys, you know what the thing is? We come in here and we call them frauds, and then they do
And
things
then
like this. So
then they
it's
say
it's
tech.
yeah, so it's difficult to read, but I think they'll try and carry the momentum over. If
Yeah,
if it's same team, same team. The only problem is now we got a game plan for Grant Williams. That's the guy
yeah.
where it's like this is the spark to start everything.
Mm. But again, it's
Mpunu,
all going to come back down to the forwards quarters.
yeah,
It's still because even if the Sharks pack gets going and gets going properly,
yeah,
the carries, you're always going to get, the meters. There's going to be line breaks.
yeah,
It's now going to be about execution and your general taking control. Do not talk too much about the number 10, because the
yeah,
talent is there. It's there now. You got to stand up and speak up and take control and say, hey, look, I'm the
yeah,
driver here. You
yeah.
understand?
But
I'm the one driving
yeah,
here.
I agree with you. I agree with you in that point, but I don't solely put it on him
Yes.
Because Hendrickse especially is
Mm.
Hendrickse steers the ship a lot of the time.
Yeah, from nine. Yeah,
A
true.
lot of the time he does that. In terms of moving the forwards around game direction, I expected more from him. So
Mm.
I'm not gonna throw Sia Masuka under the bus when it's like Jaden
Yeah.
Hendricks was very poor as well. So
Yeah, look,
it's not just him.
it's
But
not
he
just
must
him
also
for sure.
but both of them are included in guys
Yeah, they
that,
game controllers.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know because even if you don't say to the team, say to the guy that's control, say, hey, my man, look, let's switch things up a little bit, man.
yeah.
Let's come up with a different solution, because auntie, it's a team sport. So I man, they can do better. They can. We've seen better and we want better every week. That's all.
Yeah, news also coming out. Mhunu leaving the Sharks at the end of the season for Stormers. It was reported that he was a target a few months ago, and then now the deal is done. I mean, he'll want to start to push Bok ambitions,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
behind Ox. He's not going to do him any favors when Gerard Steenekamp is starting every week.
Mm,
So
mm.
it's a move for him. They've also lost
I
Kitsov
think,
there by the Stormers, so it's a move that I mean he's improved this season. For me, the only thing with him is scrumming is always going to be the issue.
yeah, it is, look, granted, he's been converted from a loose forward as well, other guys have done it before, but he's been kept playing that position.
Yeah,
He's shown that he can. So maybe
yeah,
changing scenery as well, different voices, different things,
yeah,
can, get better. And considering, that the Stormer scrum is also not, it's not a weak scrum, uh,
yeah.
when they are really getting it right, So yeah, I think maybe good for him, being a good crop of players, the Stormers.
Yeah, let's move on to Bulls. Bulls versus the Stormers. This one, rain delayed. It was
Yeah.
almost. I actually thought they were going to call the game off. They got a few of the Oaks there with brooms to sweep some water off there. I don't know. I really thought it was going to get cancelled. Kickoff pushback. Stormers. I think this is the first win in like five. And I
Yeah.
was really expecting them to lose. I won't lie. I was really expecting them to lose. But, the sequence of events, it pushed it in their favor. I mean, Moody, there
Yeah.
was no Hanacom. Moody went off
Yeah.
early. And like I've always said with this Bulls team, they'll go as far as Moody and Hanacom take them. So Moody and Hanacom were not there to take them anyway. So they
Yeah.
stayed. They've got the young captain. It's a second loss, for him. I don't know what's
Mm.
going on there. And for me, what it all boils down to is kicking. Because Papier, yes, he's on form, I won't lie. But when you dig deeper, when you look further, he's not great at tactical kicking. You got Villy there, he's playing 10, the playmaking is there. He's not great at tactical kicking. Then
Mm.
if you look at the other positions that have to field the kicks, the two wings and the fullbacks, they
Yeah.
weren't dealing with the kicks. Williams knocked
Yeah.
on a number of times. De Klerk, they isolated him for that try. They put a bomb, then
Mm.
they put three guys to go and get him. And
Yeah.
Galant was one of those guys. Galant is like another guy. So there's like four guys because Galant's just something will happen, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And then you've got Sergio Peterson as well, dealing with Ben Loader, who Ben Loader, I thought he was
Yeah.
a
I know.
fraud. I thought he was a
I
fraud.
I
But
know.
I've now
I
seen
know.
that Ben Loader, no, he
No,
can play, and especially under
I
the high ball,
agree.
he can play.
I agree.
So, you had a situation where the back three were under pressure, and then you've got the
Mm.
9 and the 10 who can't relieve the pressure tactically by kicking. So who's relieving the pressure? It's just scrums, just getting scrum pins, and that's all that they were living off of. But besides that, they had nothing really.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, quarters. Nothing more to add to that because all I can say is that the Stormers for me is the way that they started as well.
Yeah,
You saw
yeah,
it from minute one, and even when the captain was making carries, I was like, no, they want this one. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Where you see it was all hands on deck, and I think, like you said, it played into their favor. Yes, the conditions. Then it actually forced them to be more a bit tighter, as well, and really a level playing field. But it was just more about who wanted it more, and the limiting mistakes. They made
yeah,
less mistakes than the Bulls, um, and yeah, expected better from the Bulls, considering that they at home, they should have you know been in a better position to handle whatever the Stormers are going to throw at them. And like you say, Papira has been on form, but yeah, inaccuracies with the kicking as well, they cost. And most of the time, sometimes it does go unnoticed. The wins do paper over that. I can agree, I can see
yeah,
that. So yeah, but you have to credit the Stormers for their intensity. And I think even guys like Similani getting that try as well. I think
mm,
for him that was good. It's a winning try, and I think that was big for him as well. But based off of the work rate. They worked for that one. They fought for that one. They looked more desperate. You know, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't going to be because of the conditions, but
Yeah.
yeah, just from when you're looking at those characteristics, of how they got that win. I think yeah, it's just they were more desperate. They wanted it more. And yeah, nothing more to add. Really.
Yeah, for me, they played the conditions. They played them great. Even
Mm,
when they had the ball, it's kind of like they knew what they were doing, and the passes were sticking a bit more than what they were from the
mm,
Bulls. I think the Bulls just looked a bit more disjointed. Guys looked like they were knocking on more. They fall back on the scrum just to get those pins. That's how they got their try, but
mm.
it's not enough. We've seen now two week against the Sharks in this game. You can't just rely on that scrum.
Yeah.
You need to do other things here. And these guys,
But again, it comes from that intensity. I think the Stormers did get under their skin. I mean, where have you ever seen
yeah,
Vocalo, you know, doing what he did, just pulling a guy. Like, think about it,
yeah,
so you have to credit that aspect of what the Stormers brought. I think they were letting them know that they're still there. They're going to be there
yeah,
the whole day, and the Bulls they weren't having their way with them, as
yeah,
and obviously with the conditions, not allowing for that ball to be moved the way that they did against the Lions, because it's pretty much almost same team as Moody out, but you know, so yeah, it's from a Bulls perspective, they had opportunities to take that control, but they couldn't, and the Stormers pack, I think for me, that's also I think they worked just a little
yeah.
bit more than the Bulls,
Yeah, Dweba had a good game. His lineouts
Mm,
were good in that weather. He had a lot of good carries. You had Evan Ruiz also.
yeah,
He stepped up, and it's
but it
also
was the guy.
yeah. But it's a bit cheeky because he's the guy because the real guy isn't there. The real he's the guy when the real guy isn't
So
there.
yeah,
Hanukkam is not
yeah,
there, so now I'm going to be the father's not there, so I'll be the stepfather.
yeah,
He
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so it was a bit, there's always
I hear you.
there's gonna be
I
that
hear
that
you.
asterisk there to say, yeah, it was a performance, but
But
the guy
but
wasn't there.
wasn't there? Yeah, true, very true. But they took their chances. You play the
Yeah,
cards that you dealt.
yeah,
But yeah, they look for me. It's just they were more desperate. But
yeah.
yeah, Bulls still those things. They look. They got good news. With the 10 coming in, but at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
like just you know doesn't look like it. If you don't have a proper 10 there, to be honest, that's especially the way that the Bulls play traditionally, it's going to be difficult because they don't have that real option of kicking off 10 as well.
Yeah.
Those real contestables. Really can give you those spectaculars, but in terms of, the robotic, as it were,
Yeah.
it's they're lacking in that maybe. So,
That was something Mattia actually did well in this game, and I won't lie, he's been the butt of a few jokes, but he was the one laughing this time, Mattia. So
yeah, no,
yeah, he stepped up. But like you said, Pollard is gonna come in next season. But for me, it fixes one problem, but there's
yeah,
still other problems. You now look at
yeah,
the back three. Yes, the Clerk's got that pace, but his fundamentals, are they sound enough?
yeah.
You look at Sergio Peterson, he can do a job, but his fundamental when it now comes to the high ball and you've got a guy like Loader against him,
Yeah,
when Devon Williams is also, I think he's shown more than the other two in terms of being sound and filling in. But I mean, him as well, he didn't have a great game.
yeah, yeah. There's none of them that gave them that outlet,
And that's the
Uh,
thing also, where it's like, who plays where? Who's gonna play where?
mm,
Because there's a thing in the center where Hans came back. Now Hans is playing 13. Moody was playing 13 before. Creel was also playing 13. So now,
yeah,
who's the 13? Now Creel is
Mm,
playing 12. So is now Creel the 12, or is it Foster is he the 12? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
who's the wings now? Moody playing 13, moving to Thing. He can play fullback as well. Then Arnser, they're probably gonna get him back at some stage. So I think that's also a problem with this team, is this
Mm,
shuffling round and round and round. It's just not giving them what they want.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
And there
still,
was still
I think
in there. So it's they don't know their best team. They don't know who's the
yeah,
captain. They don't know.
yeah. It's just too many things happening. You know,
Yeah,
too many things happening. There's no clarity to know that okay, the franchise 10 is this guy. Okay, it's going to be Pollard now. Okay, we know that.
yeah,
Okay, so we know Papir. Okay, he's your 9,
yeah,
cool, and Clark is your backup, cool. Hanoko Mies is your 8, but then now it's who's your next guy. It's
yeah,
Gumete, and it's again quarters for me. It goes back to that step up thing. But outside of the shuffling, also goes back to with your opportunities that you get,
yeah,
consistently stake a claim where it's difficult to say, hey, you can't play, or you can play without this guy, or when he's fit, you want him in your team. So
yeah,
there's that, where you've seen it across other teams, other games where guys, when they get their opportunities, they've been taking them, So I think it's also a combination of that as well, coach.
yeah. Any closing remarks? Closing remarks.
I'm still backing the Sharks. I don't care, quarters. I don't care. I'm still backing them, But hey, they better do the job. They better do the job.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think that's from my side. I think it's gonna be a tight contest, but I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get back to back. We're gonna go back to back, and if
Chuchu,
we do that,
quarters.
it will be so sweet. But we shall see.
No. So I'm saying I'm backing the Sharks, quotes. I'm backing them. I'm backing them. Backs against the wall now. We're questioning them, so they gotta deliver.
Yeah, yeah. That's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for
Yeah,
listening.